Everyone fights, no one runs. Welcome to the Kill It Podcast, where I, Christopher Bob Roberts, explain how I became healthy, wealthy, and happy by being ruthless with my friends, family, customers, and especially myself. And today I want to talk about a drug called Soma. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but in the book, Brave New World, there was a drug called Soma. And it was responsible for taming the lower classes. Basically, the people who had the lower classes, who just hated their lives, who were just miserable because they didn't have anything, they would come home from work and they would use this drug called Soma, which would give them the feeling of bliss. They hate their whole life. They're scrubbing toilets in an asbestos factory for 25 cents an hour, just hating it. They still don't have enough money to live on, and they're just doing it because they have to, and there's no way out. And they come home and they're miserable, but man, I can't wait until I get home. I just do some Soma. I'm going to feel a lot better. And when they do their Soma, they feel great. They just forget about how miserable their life is, and they're just in bliss, and they just enjoy it. They're in the moment. They enjoy this feeling of not being miserable just for a few hours. Then the next day the alarm clock goes off, they get up and they're miserable because they got to go back to the asbestos factory to scrub toilets for 25 cents an hour for another full day. But they know when they get off work, they're going to take some Soma and all their problems are going to be gone. And they do that every single day, and their life never changes until the day they die. Now, that's like a dystopian society. Like, utopia is the perfect civilization. Dystopia is a perfect civilization where some people are just really, really unhappy and being used by the ones who have the actual perfect civilization. And, if we were to keep people down like that, we would have a violent armed revolution that would make the French Revolution looked like a minor disagreement. If people were legitimately forcing us to take these drugs, legitimately keeping us down, legitimately keeping us from getting in shape, having the relationships we wanted, from making any money, from having different jobs, from learning anything, if they were strapping us to sofas, making us watch Netflix, stuffing us with unhealthy food, not allowing us to exercise, not allowing us to learn anything, to read books, to write books, there would be such a violent uprising like the world has never seen. We would destroy the Capitol building, the White House, Congress, just like the Bastille. We would guillotine every single civil servant. I don't care if all you did was deliver mail to the damn White House. We would catch you and we would guillotine your ass, like they used to guillotine the Queen's maids and chambermaids in damn France during the Revolution when they ran out of actual royalty to guillotine. It would be really bad. But those who know best aren't putting themselves in that position. There's not going to be a revolution because you're doing it to yourself. Nobody's saying you cannot get off your ass and exercise. No one's saying you can't have the relationship you want. No one's saying that you can't leave the relationship you don't want. No one's saying you can't read a book. No one's saying you can't write a book. No one's saying you can't learn a martial art, how to dance, a language. No one's saying you can't become a commission-based salesman and make a lot of money. No one's saying you can't do anything. You're doing it to yourself. No one's forcing you to take Soma, but you are intentionally keeping yourself down. You are intentionally making yourself part of the 99% that's miserable. You are intentionally broadening the gap between the haves and the have-nots. You are intentionally choosing to be a have-not. You are intentionally choosing to be miserable in a world where you could have everything that you want because you're using Soma. Like I said, Soma is a literary drug. It's a fictional drug. It was just made up for that book. But the fact of the matter is, what you're doing every day, that dopamine chase, drugging yourself, doping yourself with dopamine, keeping yourself from feeling the pain that is your miserable existence, which keeps you from realizing you need to change something about your miserable existence, that's exactly the same as taking Soma. You go to work, scrub toilets in an asbestos factory for 25 cents an hour all day. You hate your life. You ain't got no money. You're miserable. You come home to your rat-infested, flea-ridden, damned apartment, one bedroom you're sharing with 5 other people. You go ahead and you just sit down on the sofa. You turn on Netflix, a little dopamine spike. You go ahead and look at Uber Eats, a little dopamine spike. You watch pornography. I mean, I'm not even talking about, like I said, like pornography or smoking weed. I'm just talking about how many people dope themselves with junk food, dope themselves with Netflix, the dopamine spikes they get from eating garbage while watching Netflix, the little bit of joy that they have that completely distracts them from the fact that they hate their life. They just sit there and they go ahead and they watch beautiful people on TV with money, with great lives, with great families, with great accomplishments. They watch people having sex in porn, knowing, like, I'm never going to have a woman like that, who looks like that, who enjoys sex, who's that good at sex. I'm never going to have an experience like that. I'm just going to sit here and watch someone else fuck someone else and jerk off and get a dopamine spike and feel better. And you're convincing yourself that you can't have that yourself. Why can't you have sex? Why can't you have a woman you're attracted to? Why can't you live in Hawaii? Why can't you have a job that doesn't suck? Why can't you have more money than you need? Why can't you learn a language, to play an instrument, to dance? Why can't you read a book? Why can't you write a book? Why can't you start a business? Why can't you go back to school? Why can't you do anything besides be fucking miserable? The fact of the matter is, you refuse to look in the mirror. Figuratively, you refuse to look at yourself in the mirror like, what's up with my life? How much of my life do I enjoy? How much of my life do I hate? What would be my perfect life? Have you ever written down what your perfect life would be like? But you don't, because it sucks, because you have to admit that your life sucks right now, and you have to admit that you have to go through hardship to get out of the shit relationship, the shit situation, the shit job, to turn your body from shit to fit, as they say. When you start reading a book, it's going to be, you're not going to be able to concentrate because all you do is watch Netflix. That if you start to write a book, you're going to spend a lot of time staring at a blank piece of paper. And it's a lot easier to just come home. I just got a few hours. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to smoke some weed, jerk off to porn, watch Netflix, order some Uber Eats, dope myself with dopamine, fall asleep, do the same thing the next day, and my life is never going to change. So like I said, basically what you have to do is, the biggest thing you have to do is you have to stop avoiding the pain, stop avoiding the misery. You need to feel the pain. You need to be honest with yourself. I fucking hate this. I fucking hate being broke. I fucking hate being fat. I fucking hate being lonely. I fucking hate never knowing I'll never touch a beautiful woman or be touched by a beautiful woman. Knowing that I'll never live in an area where I would love to live. Knowing I'll never have a house that I want to have. You need to embrace that. You need to embrace the fact that you're fucking miserable. You need to feel the pain. You need to put down the fucking pipe. Not hit the soma, not hit the weed, not fucking jerk off, not order a fucking pizza, not drink a fucking beer, not watch some fucking TV and escape like a motherfucking drunkie. Because there's a fine motherfucking line between someone who smokes crack or does heroin and someone who just fucking watches Netflix and eats fucking pizza and jerks off. Fine motherfucking line. You are convincing yourself that your life doesn't suck by using a drug called dopamine to fucking avoid fucking reality. And the longer that you avoid reality, the longer you're going to avoid the pain of knowing how much your life sucks, the longer you are going to avoid having to change. It's like people say, how many people do their taxes the night before their taxes are due? But the problem is, in life, there's never a deadline. There's never a deadline where you're going to go to jail if you don't start getting in shape. There's never a deadline where you're going to go to jail if you don't have a relationship you like. There's never going to be a deadline where you're going to go to jail if you don't start writing that book. There's never going to be a deadline where you're going to go to jail if you don't read that book. There's never going to be a deadline where if you don't have the house that you want to have by this time, you're going to go to jail. There's never a deadline for that. So you can postpone it forever. And postponing it forever means you will never, ever, 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 ever have it. And since most people are miserable, guess what? You're going to be miserable for the rest of your motherfucking life. And at the end of the day, aside from the fact that heroin could fucking kill you in an instant if you take too much, aside from that, there is no motherfucking difference in your life between being addicted to porn, addicted to Netflix, addicted to junk food, addicted to dopamine spikes, and being an alcoholic or a drug addict. You're just avoiding fucking reality. And at least if you were to say, hey, I shoot heroin, I need help, people would say, fuck, you need to stop that. That's wrong. You absolutely positively need help. I'm going to fucking take you somewhere. We're going to lock you up. We're going to make sure that you get the help you need. Hell, if you don't even have money, you can get like state-sponsored help getting off of an addiction. But the fact of the matter is, dopamine is not considered negative. It's not considered an addiction. So you can go your whole life, I think I'm addicted to dopamine. All right, fine. Go back to work. You have to scrub toilets for 25 cents an hour. I need help. No, you don't. Just stop jerking off. Just stop being fucking horseshit. Just go to the gym. Just start writing your book. What's wrong? But you're addicted. So what I suggest you guys do is I suggest that you stop doing anything that makes you feel good. We're in a society right now where everyone wants to feel good. And that's the reason why everyone feels bad. The more you want to feel good, the more you're going to avoid the bad things in your life. The more you're going to avoid the good things in your life you don't have. The more you're going to avoid change in your life, which means the more you're going to suffer. So the more you want to feel good, the more you're going to feel bad. You need to feel bad. You need to embrace that shit. You need to look at yourself in the mirror. Theoretically, like sit down and look at your life, what you hate, what you want to have. You need to decide what you want to have. Just describe your perfect life, every aspect of your life. What would the perfect day of your life be? What would your perfect life be? What would your perfect house be? What would your perfect job be? What would your perfect physique be? What would your perfect relationship be? What would everything, if everything was perfect, what would it be? Then you need to realize you ain't got that. You need to realize you have to go through hell to get that. Stop making yourself feel good. Everything that feels good is making you fucking feel bad. So what you need to do is you need to just come home. You hate your life? Fine. Have a glass of water. Not soda, not beer. Don't smoke weed. Don't jerk off. Don't watch porn. Don't watch Netflix. Don't order Uber Eats. Have a fucking salad. Fry up some eggs. Have some eggs. Throw some salt and pepper on it. No ketchup and fluffy shit to make you feel good. Eat some one-ingredient foods. Drink some fucking water. And fucking just sit there. Sit in it. Sit in the pain. Sit in the fucking frustration. Scream if you have to. Yell if you have to. I'm fucking tired of this shit. This fucking sucks. I fucking hate my life. Let it out. Let the fucking emotions out. It will fucking leave. And then when the emotions are gone, just sit there and be like, fuck. What the fuck do I want? The fuck do I have to do to get it? Who do I have to become to have the woman I want in my life? Who the fuck do I have to become to have the job I want? Who the fuck do I have to become to be the guy who just gets up and says, fuck this, I'm moving to goddamn the south of France because that's where I'd love to live. And I fucking hate living in Chicago because it's cold as fuck here and I'm living in the slums and I got rats everywhere. So most people are not going to do this. Most people are going to make up excuses. And the funny thing is the people who respond positively to a podcast or a video or, someone saying something like this are the ones who don't need it because they're already working on themselves. They're already in a good position. They're already introspecting and seeing how they can make their lives even better. And the people who really need to hear this, the ones who are addicted to dopamine, the ones who refuse to look at their lives, are the ones who are going to talk shit about this, who are going to be miserable, or going to be negative. Oh, I can't. Oh, you don't understand. Oh, you don't understand. Oh, you don't understand. Okay, fine. I do understand. You're never going to sit in the pain long enough to realize you need to make a change. You're never going to decide what change you have to make, come up with a plan to make those changes, and fucking start. And because of that, you're going to be miserable forever. And plot twist, I don't give a fuck. I am so far gone, begging people, reasoning with people. If you don't want to help yourself, I don't give anything resembling a horse shit. If you want to fucking make excuses instead of progress, you go right ahead. I don't give a fuck. And if you want to fucking make negative comments, oh, this guy don't understand, just realize you're a fucking loser. And you're not fucking kidding anyone. And you're never going to fucking change, and your life's going to suck until the day you die. I really wish that I could help people. But like I said, the people, with extraordinarily rare exceptions, the people who listen to this and don't have anything negative to say and agree are the ones who don't need to hear it. And the ones who need to hear it are the ones who are going to be negative as fuck. And the whole world is going to look at you and be like, yeah, that guy's got some shit to cope with. He's got some shit to deal with. He refuses to face reality, so he just makes excuses. And, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, you're going to be that much more miserable, that much older, have wasted that much more time. And, no one gives a fuck. They're going to get on with their own lives. Whether they're trolls and losers wasting their own lives with dopamine spikes, whether they're people who are achieving what you can't even possibly dream of because you don't allow yourself, they're not going to think about you at all. So, I guess the ball's in your court. Don't forget to subscribe to the Kill It Podcast wherever you prefer to listen to podcasts. And make sure you go to ChristopherBobRoberts.com, where you will find links to every platform on which the Kill It Podcast can be found, as well as links to all my social media accounts, all my digital courses, and an application for my one-on-one coaching. Check out the Brotherhood of Beasts, my group coaching program, on brotherhoodofbeasts.com. And aside from that, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys again in the next episode.